Hello, hello, hello. It has been quite a bit since we've done one of these. I usually kind of take the summer off, basically, because Mondays are my day off, and it's been pretty nice. I've been out doing a lot of outdoorsy stuff, having fun. Today was crappy out for the first time in a long time, raining, cold. Wasn't going to take the boat out, wasn't going to go out and do anything, so here I am. I've been in here building this all day. This is a brand new Team Associated B84D that is officially my son's, and he has, how do I put it, been kind of busy, so I've taken it upon myself to build the car for him. I just got done building his truck, his T7. So he's got two new cars going into the Indoor National Series Finals here in a couple weeks. 2 weeks? Week and a half? But got done building this last week. Brand new T7 truck. Never been driven, so he's going to have to get on the track sometime this week and kind of break it down a little bit. And yeah, it's pretty easy build on this one. Nothing too crazy. The 0 degree KPI is pretty cool. The transmission is off the chain, and I really want to get that in a buggy, in specifically his stock buggy, just to see what we can do with it. And then the coolest thing too is, like, you can use your existing body that you already have, in this case this, and the body holes mount perfectly. It just sits really low, so we had to chop off the bottom part of it, so right up to the Hobby Wing sticker. So his body's a little beat up. We're going to try to reinforce it for this last race, but I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he can do with this one. And then, of course, we got the four-wheel drive. That's what we're working on today. Just got done with bag 7. So we're going to do the turnbuckles, the shocks. We've got a couple factory team parts to switch out on the shocks. He wanted black collars instead of blue, so forgot to put them on this one. Hope he doesn't get mad at me. If he does, he can put them on himself. So yeah, so brand new kickstart. Oh, that was worth a trip to Casey's earlier. It's been so long since we done one of these that I actually have I have reader glasses now, because I have trouble seeing what's right in front of me. This actually makes my eyes not hurt. So yeah, well, hopefully the stream isn't going super slow on your guys' end. My wireless just went to crap. That's weird. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see what this says, shall we? Hey, commercial. What the heck? Well, the sound's not very good either. It's been a while. I'm always worried about, like, I'm not worried about stuff changing, but I am definitely always worried about, like, oh, there it goes. Okay. Well, we'll just power through it. everybody in my family's on the TV, so, and we're streaming, so it's like, whatever. What are you gonna do? All right, it says excellent collection. All right, let's get moving. We're going to install some I am in the basement, so that happens every once in a while. I've told these guys to like turn off the TVs, get off all the stuff that we use, you know, Xbox, streaming services, all that stuff. So hopefully we can just power through and it'll work out fine. How's everybody doing? Get the chat going. I watched the Worlds, the entire week of Worlds. That was pretty phenomenal. Wasn't up near as late as I thought I was going to be, so I was happy about that because I thought it was going to be like 3 a.m. in the morning, but it really wasn't. It was like 1 a.m. in the morning. Actually, for both races, you probably could have gone to bed early because two-wheel drive was decided in 2 mains, and so was four-wheel drive. Interesting race, the four-wheel drive race. There was Carrop got the associated teammate behind him instead of a rival brand with Ungaro, and I think Davide pressured him well and respectfully, especially in that first main. They made a little contact, almost wrecked them both, and I think it was in like the last minute and a half. It felt like, it felt to me like maybe he backed off just a hair, and I am sure that there were some, not team orders, but I bet you there was a chat with the team about, you know, hey, no matter what, let's make sure an associated car wins this sort of deal. So, you know, Peter says, hey, it's Monday Night Football, though. I don't care about NFL. NFL, that's what I think of NFL. JWRC, have you been able to get a look at the Mugen prototype yet? Nothing more than you guys have seen. I mean, they were talking about, if you go back and watch one of my vids from the Worlds when I interviewed Adam Drake, you know, they were talking about a four-wheel drive back then. And what did I just do with my... So, it's, you know, we kind of knew it was coming. Kind of knew it was coming, and surprised. I am surprised that it took this long. Actually, I thought it'd be out, or at least I thought something would be out a little sooner than the next Worlds. So, you know, what are you gonna do? Cool looking car, though. I mean, Brock did awesome in the main, so I mean, he was one spot away from a podium with that thing, which is pretty awesome. That is pretty freaking cool. I don't know. I'll probably get one. I don't know. I got to decide what I'm going to do next year. When we're going to complete this international series, my son and I, and he might want to do more 8 scale. He might not want to do any traveling at all. I'm not really sure. So, I don't know. But I like RC cars, so I'll probably end up with one anyways, just because. 24.2, that's going to come all the way down to here. Okay. Peter Renault on here, long time subscriber for the Hobbyplex show, saying that he had a RC Banquet this year, didn't win any hardware, but he did win the raffle 7 times. I mean, sometimes it's better than just a stupid, you know, board. Because a lot of times, what are you going to do with a board later? You know? I wish I could win raffles at our track. But I don't, because I put them on, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm rigging the game, you know? There we go. 24.2. This is my son's B84D that we are on bag 8. They don't call them. They don't letter them anymore, which really makes me grumpy when you get to the what would be the D bag. Bag 4. Yeah, bag 4. So, wah. And yeah, so we actually just got this car. We were going to have this by the INS race here at the Plex, and sort of forgot. And then when it came down to it, we didn't quite have the fundage to get everything we wanted as quick. So now we do, and now we'll have it ready for the finals, and obviously next year. So Steve RC says Thelke said he told them to race how they want to race and don't take out a teammate. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it looked like Ongaro maybe backed off a little bit in that first main with about a minute left to go, because they got together and they could have taken each other out right then and there, and they didn't. And then I think in the second main, I feel like he was going for it, but going for it in a very respectful way. He hit him coming down, actually the same spot as an A1, I believe, coming down off that little tabletop turn. But he actually ruined himself, so, you know. But he didn't hit him in like a... I don't think it was an intentional, like, takeout way. I think he was just trying to go. So that A3 was a little spicy. Ronafalt got on there on oh god, what's that dude's name? Daniel. That was pretty awesome. Not awesome in the fact that, like, they hit each other, but Daniel got him back. It kind of like, that reminded me of the old Yuka Stenari Mark Pavitas main from the ranch along the 97. That reminded me of that. I was watching that going, oh man, that's a little spicy back there, you know? So, Kabovic, yeah, there you go. Am I going to put in for the Worlds? Famar declined to host. No. We actually, I just got a message about that today, and from the management group, and because they saw that we were tagged in a post or something like that. Here's the deal with the Plex. Posting a Worlds, our facility is pretty awesome. Everybody who's been here knows it. But I think we probably wouldn't get it anyways, just because we don't have air conditioning in the track. We'd like to keep it hot and humid to make the track good. If you open up the doors, which we could do, it would change completely what everybody knows about the Plex right now. Like right now, we know slicks are the way. You know, they don't allow tire sauce. You know, so everybody would have to have, it'd be no tire sauce. So the tire selection would actually be on me to really think about it and go, okay, what tire would be the best with no tire sauce allowed? Then opening up the doors, drying out the track would be a way to do it, because then you could run pins. You know, we'd run Jconcepts double Ds or something like that. I don't know, but we don't really have a good place for spectators. our announcer booth is not big enough. Our we don't have a good place to put media. So like at this place, Hills did awesome, man. They got that. They had the RC media place right there by the track. If you look at all the equipment that they have, we don't have a good place to put that, right? It'd have to be inside, which is what we've been doing for the INS. Elite's done it that way, and obviously Mod had done it that way. But then your interviews and stuff are always in a place where people are walking, which makes it kind of tough. I thought about it in 2023 before I knew the Hobby Action was putting in for the race, and we talked about it and talked about it, and we just would not do that race any justice. Also, I gotta say, like, think of how many people it took to make that race what it was. It's a club down there at Hobby Action. He's got more people. He had more people doing the track than we do at the Plex, you know. Like, it would take a massive effort of not just the employees, but a little bit of help. And look, I gotta say, I've been in that position before where people always say they'll help and all that, but it's unreliable at best. So that's why we would never go for the 10 scale one unless we win the lottery or something. That's different, you know. Then we'll put HVACs in, we'll seal the place up, we'll add on a media center. You know, we might build a balcony around the track somewhere. When we were originally designing that place, I had wanted the announcer's booth to be about twice as big as what it is now. I wanted it to really stay in that triangle shape that we have, but I really wanted it to be longer and bigger because I knew, like, if we held nationals and stuff in the future, like, how important it would be to have the space for more than just one person in the booth, or two at best, right? So, yeah, no, probably not. It'd be cool, but man, I just now that's not to say I might not put in for a different kind of worlds. We had thought about, we had discussed 12 scale on-road worlds when they were in the U.S.'s side. We had discussed maybe the e-buggy worlds. They're going to be in the U.S. in 2 years. You know, that's very big, that's a possibility for us to actually bid on. And that, you know, again, you can bid on everything you want. It's like doing the Nats. You can bid on it. You're never guaranteed you're going to get it. But I could see us doing the e-buggy one, because then we could open the doors, because we run treads anyways. You don't have to worry about tire sauce, because even though in the wintertime when we're running e-buggy, we do run tire sauce. You know, it wasn't that long ago we didn't run tire sauce at all, and the doors were open in the summertime. Get on YouTube and look up a Racer Oz, one word, Racer OZ. He has got some videos from when the Plex first opened, 2012 or so, and we did a couple RC Pro Series races. And go back and look at that track. That is how that would be, and it would be pretty cool and fair for everybody. We'd build, obviously, a nice big 8-scale track like we did for the e-buggy Nats in 2018. I think, yeah, I don't know. Thinking about it, like I said, you can bid on anything you want. Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but at least you could put that step forward. So we have a little bit of time to discuss it, but definitely not the 10-scale one. It's just not in the cards for us. After 2016, when we held the 10-scale nationals, I mean, I thought that race was pretty successful. We made a spot for spectators like we do in the summertime now. We moved the bleachers over to where the oval is, let people come down there. I think that's where we started doing that, and that's worked out really well. But yeah, after going to Worlds, after going to the 2016 Onward Worlds, and seeing how they do stuff, I just didn't feel like we were ready for that, or could do that. I mean, we could do that in a pinch, but it wouldn't be as good. It'd be like the ones. If we held a World, I feel like it would be like, they'd be like, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't as good as, you know, something. Macho Man, I didn't see any Boom RC when was at the Plex. Boom RC. Is that the stickers or the brand of like crawling stuff? Because yeah, I haven't been able to find a distributor for Boom RC for crawling stuff. I wish I could. I mean, I could go direct. It's annoying when you have the easiest way to place orders is to just use your distributors, right? So going direct on stuff sometimes is just annoying as all get out. Especially when they have minimums that you might not be able to reach, and that makes the cost of everything go up because then you got to pay for shipping, and you got to pay for a penalty because you didn't order enough stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why we don't have certain companies every once in a while. Oh, I see what you're saying. The boom sale. Yeah, so that wasn't my branding idea. It was like I think they were going for a boom, it's a sale type thing, not a boom RC sale. I get where you're coming from. I apologize for that if that's what you thought. That's not what that was. So yeah, I would have liked to seen just like a. Well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't have any problem with what we called that. It's just that's what it ended up being. I can see a confusion there. Travis Clancy's on here. Steve RC's on here. Murillo's on here. Family fishing. I wish I could have gone out fishing today. We had a really good. I caught a lot of fish this year. I caught a lot of fish last summer, but I caught a lot of different fish this year. So last summer it was like all big catfish and your regular stuff around here like bass and everything. And this year I finally caught wipers. Finally caught some big wipers. We caught walleye. I never catch walleye. Caught a bunch of white bass. I mean, we were having a really good run there. Macho Man Sarah's was there today. The table of kits and RDRs is about empty. Yeah, I actually been. So I have access to Sarah Sales, right, and from home, and there was still a lot of stuff there Friday night, which kind of freaked me out because I'm like, man, I made this stuff cheap, you know. And then Saturday when I came up in between heats, it had gotten kind of thin, and then yesterday we sold a bunch more stuff, and then I saw today that even more stuff sold. So that's good because I mean we kind of want that gone. We don't want to hang on to it for no reason. I was happy to see that table's probably about empty now for sure because I saw a couple more things had gone. Oh wow, I'm way off. 20 what? 21.2. So I got to go way back to here. So okay, that's where we are. Yeah, the wiper thing. So we had gone to a spot where Pig Patrol goes to at Lake Manawa, and it's the only spot you should fish in Lake Manawa apparently because we tried some other spots. We were talking about it. We're like, my buddy's got a boat. He races at the Plex too, and we were talking about we're like we should go find another spot because what if we come here and somebody's already here, right? Then what do? We came all this way, so we tried some other spots and it was not good. So, but we had gone to that Pig Patrol spot, and way back in June, and I caught my personal best largemouth there, and then he caught a good walleye. We actually kept those and ate them. They were really good. I haven't caught a bass, not caught a bass. I haven't kept a bass since I was a kid, and I was actually like really surprised by how tasty it was. So it made me want to go to lakes where it's only 15 inches and catch some more and keep them. Like Lake Manawa, a lot of Iowa lakes now are 15 inch instead of 21. Anyways, this isn't a fishing podcast or whatever, but it's you got me going. So, Yeah, yeah, it's been really good. Next Monday is looking like a little warmer, but still a possibility of rain. I really want to take my boat out again one more time before the bite really falls off and it starts getting cold. So we shall see. Hopefully next Monday I'll be able to get out one more time, because the Monday after that is we're driving back from we're building this car for the Indoor National Series at Hoosier RC Hobbyplex in New Albany, Indiana for the finals. I saw Jamie Thompson signed up today for 40 plus, so now I am gonna have to like really race my ass off if I want to win that thing. He's got, I think a 3 point lead on me, and then I got like a 2 point lead on Max. So a lot of things are gonna have to really come together for me to get the 40 plus championship. Alan Horn and Brent Thelke both could win that if they just showed up and did a top three. But both of them are going to the vintage race, so that leaves the door open for Jamie and me and Mac Vanderbeek. But you never know. Can't win if you don't go. So that's why we're going. We'll see what happens. JWRC says Lake Mead is known for stripers. We have them here in Vegas. Yeah, dude. McConaughey in western Nebraska has stripers. I've actually never caught a striper, but they're stocked in a couple lakes over here. Wipers are, and then Cunningham Lake, which is just a city lake not too far from where I live. I was shocked by how much fish was in there. We were catching a fish like every cast, and they were dinks. Like most of them were dinks. I caught a bunch of little baby walleye fingerlings like this. My buddy caught a keeper. Actually caught two keepers last Monday of walleye, and I think they were both 17 inchers. But the closest to get a striper, I think is McConaughey. Or Harlan County, maybe. Harlan County Reservoir, which is, again, in western Nebraska. My wife and I, we went on vacation to Moab in August. And I brought my fishing pole with me and some little bit of my fishing gear. Didn't catch anything, but still dabbled around a little bit in the Colorado River and everything. On one of the hikes we did was this creek, and it was crystal clear, and I was fully expecting to see fish because that's what mountain creeks are, right? So I spot these fish, and I'm getting all excited because I'm figuring they're, trout or something. They're bluegill, just good old bluegill in this canyon creek that goes into the Colorado. And there was regular everyday bluegill. And I was like, oh my God, there's a bluegill. There were some suckers that I saw that were native to Utah. But yeah, I couldn't believe it because this was a natural fed canyon creek, like a spring fed canyon creek, and it had bluegill in it. Then we hiked up further, and I looked into some of the other deeper pools, and I saw this longer fish, and I thought for sure that was going to be a trout or something like that. It was a largemouth bass. I was like, I could have brought my beetle spin and cast it into this little pool, and I would have been able to say that I caught a fish on this trip, and it would have been just a good old largemouth bass, which you can catch here all day long. So I was actually really surprised that that's all there really was. I thought for sure we were gonna get onto some sort of mountainy fish. But no. Then I learned that they actually stock bluegill and bass all throughout that system in there because of all the dams they have. And because I had to Google it, I was like, how in the hell did bluegill get all the way over here? And of course, they're stocked. They're man-made. So yeah. Next time I know though, and I am gonna bring like my Popeil's Pocket Fisherman with me. With a beetle spin and a worm, and I'm just going to catch one just to say that I caught one. No, I have not been able to see the Mugen prototype other than what you guys have seen. And I haven't even gotten the -4 chassis. So my next thing that I'm going to do after I get done with his cars is my Mugen's right there. And I got to go through that, make sure the bearings are all set up. Maybe replace a part here too, just to get rid of some slop and just get it ready for the finals. Obviously, rebuild the diff if necessary. I've been meaning on. Time's been a thing for me. This, like I said, I kind of take the summer off somewhat from all the YouTube stuff. We still do the live stream for racing. Every once in a while, I'll do a video in the summer if I get time, like a What's New Wednesday or something like that. But it has been one of those deals where, you know, I'm just doing other things. I actually do want to build like a full setup video on my Mugen car because I feel like there's not a lot out there for that car, and I really found some setup stuff this spring. So I was really struggling with it, and I was actually getting ready to put it up. And when the Losi car came out, I was like, man, tempted to just go with the Losi. I have the Losi car, just haven't driven it a whole lot. But the Mugen 4-wheel drive looks like a shaft-driven Mugen 4-wheel drive. I believe the rear arms still have that cool adjustable little shock mount, which I've actually broken on mine before, so I got the Flashpoint ones. Actually, a buddy of mine traded me for a set. But yeah, Mugen car looks really good. I'll probably end up with one when they come out. We have a nice little Mugen. Following at the Plex. It's kind of cool, you know. And I love sharing my setup stuff with those guys because I want them all to do really well. My JWRC said it kind of looks like a shrunken MBX8. Yeah, I don't. It kind of looks like a. It doesn't look like. It looks like every other shaft car. I'm sure there's stuff in it, like the Mugen 2-wheel drive has these cool little eccentric inserts on the. God, what do we call that? What is that called? Am I dumb? Where's my thing? Oh gosh darn it. Did I get rid of that? I did get rid of that. Anyways, the Mugen 2-wheel drive had some little nuancy stuff with it that I hadn't seen before on a 2-wheel drive car. I'm sure this one will have the same way. But like there's nothing. I didn't necessarily see anything like mind-blowing, I guess, in the pictures. But I think we're at this place right now with 10 scale where it's going to be hard to find something mind-blowing because everything is so similar to everything else. What was mind-blowing and was what was really cool was Brock finishing 4th. I thought that was awesome. Macho Man, are they not all shafted belts? So Schumacher was the only one, the only real good, the only real contender with a shaft, a modern shaft 4-wheel drive, right? So there really hasn't been. So once, like the Team Associated B44 series and then B64 series, B74 series, those have all been shaft cars. And then your Losi, since the 22X4, that's been a shaft car, and that was honestly like one of the better ones out there for a while. And then obviously X-Rays had a shaft-driven 4-wheel drive forever, so Schumacher, up until their current car that just got released, they really were the only ones with a belt. So the old, you know, double X4, that was revolutionary, right? Back in the day, because before that car, you had either a shaft or a single belt or a double belt system or even like a chain, right? Or like or conversions like the RC10 MIP conversion. You know, that was a bent. I think it was a bent shaft that went all the way through. So yeah, when the 22X4 came out, or no, 22X4, when the double X4 came out, you know, that was earth shattering. Like that was very revolutionary. It also had the clicker, so your front wheels would freewheel, so your car felt more like a two-wheel drive when you're driving it. I mean, there was all sorts of really neat stuff going on with that. I feel like we're just not, we're past that now, because all these cars kind of have this similar, a lot of them have similar geometry. A lot of them kind of piggyback off of one another. You know, you kind of see that with the Losi car in a way. Two-wheel drive. So yeah, I don't know. I had this, my drill, my Makita finally broke. Is that what that was? Yeah, my Hitachi. This thing finally died. Actually, this isn't dead, but the batteries are dead. They don't charge anymore. So I was really bummed out. I think I can actually order one or have my wife order one for me on Amazon, but I kind of got sidetracked and I forgot about it. And then I ended up just going to Lowe's or whatever and picking this up. I like it. The only thing I don't like is that you can't like bend it and create a handle, so you can't get into some tight spaces with this one. Maybe I didn't get the right one. I don't know. So yeah, okay. So the way I do turnbuckles, this little guy right here actually comes with Yokomo ball cups. So we sell Yokomo 5.5 millimeter ball cups at the Plex because a lot of guys are just convinced, they swear up and down that they're the best, right? Well, this little thing comes with them. So I actually have quite a few of these in my little bin. So if I lose one, I at least have another one. But yeah, so this is just your 7 millimeter bit. That's a 7 millimeter hex. You just put that on there, grab something with the turnbuckle, and then you can save yourself the excruciating pain of putting ball cups on. It actually makes this part of the kit not as crappy. Like this is my least favorite part of a kit, is installing the turnbuckles. So it definitely takes my hatred for it down a notch. You can also order those. There's a couple of companies that make them that can go into your quarter inch drill. So, ooh, that's tight. Okay, got those on. Now we can pop them on here. Like I said, it's been so long since we've done one of these that I actually have reading glasses now that I need in order to see every once in a while. Like if my eyes start to hurt, I noticed it way back in February at the INS race at Trackside. I'm sitting in my pits for 4 days. I'm working on my stuff and I'm working on Emerson's stuff, and by main day, my head was just excruciating and it just hurt, and my eyes hurt and it was just not very good. And so yeah, it's better. I also think I look smart. Uh-oh. Huh?
Well, you can't leave the door shut.
Well, I have to leave the door shut right now because otherwise Emerson will get mad because he's watching TV and I'm doing a live stream.
Oh, well, okay, but the cats already poop everywhere, so I don't need them pooping outside of the litter box.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you said that for everybody on our 5,700 subscribers can hear that. Our cat likes to poop everywhere if the door's shut, by the way, people. You know, I have found a couple. I don't know if it's a misprint or whatever in the instruction manual, but I will say that I'm always astonished by the turnbuckles never actually lining up to the size that they say they're supposed to be. So I'm thinking that this, oh yeah, see, look at that. So this shows in bag 8, step 3 of your B84 manual here. I swear this shows the rear being 25.4, right? So it'd be these right here. But if I put that on, let me get this right. Hang on. But if I do that, this looks like this thing's gonna have like positive camber, right? But if I put this on the front, it actually looks correct. So I think they have the front camber length and the rear camber length flipped. Because this says 24.2, which would be this one. And if you do this one, let me see if I do it right. Shoot. Wrong way. Okay. So now if you go like this, and you go like that, see that? So I think they got that messed up in the manual. So if you're watching this and you got a B84 and you haven't built it yet, I'm pretty sure on page 15, and maybe they've already like had an addendum. Is that right? An addendum? And said something about it, but there you go. We just discovered that on our own without even looking at anything else. Hooray us. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks way better. Because I hate that. You'll build the bulk ups like it says in the manual, and then you go to put them on, and a lot of times they don't line up right. I feel like that's a common mistake in these. Like, their copywriters don't exactly get this stuff right all the time. Peter says he hates gluing 8-scale tire to the wheels the most. 8-scale wheels, yeah. See, I actually don't mind gluing tires. Like, I've been doing it my whole life, so it's kind of like, I'm just kind of used to it. My biggest gripe is when you glue tires and then halfway through your race, the freaking tire comes off. That hasn't happened to us in a while, but last Techno series, I think Emerson's tires came off. Of course, I glued them, so it's my fault. But I think I figured out what that was. So when the second time that happened, we changed how we cleaned our tires and we changed how we glued our tires. So we were using glass cleaner to clean them and Loctite super glue, which everybody swears by, to glue them. And I stopped using glass cleaner to clean them. I went back to Simple Green and never had a tire come off again. So I actually think it was that right there. RC10 Talk is on here. He says the accuracy of the AE manuals leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah, I didn't want to like shit on it, but there's little things all over the place in this manual every once in a while. The other thing too, like, so like they give you the HRC rear blocks and the regular rear blocks. They're both together in the kit. But if you actually go to the manual, like, it doesn't actually say which block to use. I think it says standard, but like, what's a standard? Is the standard the HRC blocks or is it not? We don't know. So I wish that they would do that. I noticed that on the B7 as well. I don't know. That's one of those things. What?
Calipers.
What do you want?
help
You want my calipers?
for like 2 minutes.
Okay, just bring it back.
What do you
What are you doing?
I broke my lug nut key, so I need to order a new one.
Oh.
I need these to verify that
Okay.
it's the right size.
Emerson broke his lug nut key, whatever that is. I don't know what that is.
It's not good. That's what it is.
Okay. That one's in. These are extra. These are extra. Actually, full disclosure, I had to really clean up my little area here because we haven't done one of these in forever. So this whole place back here is a giant mess, and I'm glad that you're only getting like this much of it because I have way too many projects and not enough time to do anything about the projects, and so it's just brutal behind me. I got a new caliber. You want to see this? Check this out. It took me, I'm 46 years old. I believe I was 16 when these came out, maybe 15. And I remember them being super duper expensive, and I could never get one. And a customer of ours brought in a monster truck, and he brought this radio with him with no receiver. And he told our guy, he's like, hey, yeah, try that radio. He's like, if the radio doesn't work, just throw it away. It's fine. And I was like, what? I'm not throwing that away. So I actually offered him $20 for it. And we talked about it, and I showed him pictures of all my little museum back here. And he actually just let me have it. So super props. Thank you very much. I swore to him that I wouldn't do any. I wasn't like trying to cheat him or anything like that. I just wanted it because I wanted it in my museum back there. So I got a caliber. Isn't that sweet? I think it turns on too. Look. Is it on? Oh, wait. Yeah, look at that. See? I think the battery's pretty dead. But anyways, so yeah, I don't know. You could get like a. I bet you it still works if I could find an Airtronics receiver. And then I have to flip the red and black wires to make sure I didn't blow anything up. But I finally got one of these. It only took me 30 years, but I finally got one. So my first good radio I ever had, I don't know why I went off on this tangent. We should be putting ball studs on. But is this Alpina PCM. And my mom got it for me with my JRX Pro. And it looks to me like this guy had the same problem that I used to have with this radio, where the screw inside of here would always break off, and then you couldn't get your antenna on. So I had to go in there and unscrew it, and go in and re-glue it on there to make it work. But this was my first like good radio. When I got this isn't my original one. I wish it was. It'd be cool, but I got this from somebody coming to the store once too, and I'm like, I have to have that. Like, you're not gonna leave here with the radio. I have to have it. So I got it, and I was surprised by how chintzy this radio felt. Like, my core memory of having this radio was like I was the badass at the track because I had an Alpina PCM, and now that every time that I pick it up and I'm like this thing. The wheel actually feels good, but the wheel's plastic. This plastic, there's no foam or anything around it, so. And the trigger's kind of weird, and the handle's kind of small. So, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Doesn't quite match up with my memory of having that radio. And then, after this radio, I think we had enough times where it broke. Where this piece broke off. Screwing. Come on. There it goes. That my first mail order purchase ever, because the hobby towns in Omaha didn't carry this, right? So I got from Hobby Warehouse of Sacramento an XL2P for like $54, transmitter only, because I think I already had a receiver or two. So this was like my first purchase of my own to get a controller, And I had Magnum Juniors and stuff too when I was a kid, but this one I'll never forget. And they had a CS2P too, which was like the higher end version of this one. But I couldn't afford it, so I got this one. I don't know. I think it's pretty rad that I got all these radios now. I think it's pretty sweet. I wanted to show off the caliber though, because gosh, that's cool. It's still cool. Like you hold it, and you're like, ergonomically, this is not near as nice as my M17 or my M8 even, or my M12. But it's still pretty rad. RC Talk says he got one 2 or 3 years ago with a car. Man, all this stuff's out there. When you see it come into the store, you're just like stuff starts going through my head. Like, okay, how much can I offer this guy to get this? Like, wonder what he would take. Like, does this person know what he has? Does he care? Like, you know, how are we gonna get this item for the Sturgeon RC Museum? I have had a few guys where they're like, "Oh no, man, I know what this is. I know what this is worth." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, all right, fine. For me, there is a point. Like, I'm not going to pay a vast sum of money to get something, especially if I already had one. I don't know. Or if, like, I got a deal on a couple RC10 graphites, and I already have an RC10 graphite, but I couldn't pass this one up. I bought it this spring. An OG one, but I think this is the one that came with that radio too. So yeah. So I haven't really looked at this much since I got it. I just got it, but there's also like a vat of parts with this thing too. I was really happy about. But I already have one of these, but I was offered 2 of these. So I actually had 3. I actually sold one to a racer of ours. But I kept this one because it's got the MIP 3-gear transmission and Technocraft turnbuckles, right? That was the shit back in the day. And then just the electronics, the T1 speaking controller. This is an Airtronics, and I'm pretty sure that the XLT, if I remember right, that's where I got the XL2P from. But it also had the like, is this the Masami, like the wing mount, where the wing mount is in the back? So instead of the pins going in, it's like that. Is that what the Masami car has? I thought that's what the Masami car had. Anyways, believe it or not, the wing. I thought the wing was so rad because these old Buds wings, like the double-decker wing. Like, we should go back to this, don't you think? Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, they're a little heavy, but we're getting there, right? We've got the new Jconcepts wing with the fins in the middle. I don't know. It's got a light sync on the back. Gosh, that's cool. RPM arms. So it's RPM arms front and back. I don't know. I couldn't pass it up. Plus, it came with a vat of parts, too, and I think it came with a toolbox as well. So I got pretty lucky with this one, I think. The body's in good shape. I got a whole bunch of bodies I need to get painted and have Kenny paint them for me, especially for the graphite car that I worked on for the YouTube video. I'm still intending on being able to make that like a daily runner when I get to go to outdoor tracks. So yeah, I couldn't pass it up. The other one was just as cool, but out of the 2, I decided to keep this one and sell the other one. I kind of got my money back. So sorry, Sam, but kind of got my money back on the other one that I sold off. That one had a Futaba radio, and it still worked. Like, everything turned on. Nickel metal hydride battery still had a little bit of charge in them, which I thought was insane. Couldn't believe it when I turned it on. Another couple projects are the I got a XXX buggy over there and a XXX truck, short course truck. that I got a whole bunch of parts for that I want to get going again. And again, it's just a time thing. Am I coming up for the Vegas Vintage Race? Nope. It's the same weekend as the INS finals, and I decided to do the finals. I looked at that race and I almost signed up for it, but good God, the hotel was a lot of money, and the entry fees were $150 a class, and I just couldn't defend going to that when my son and I can go to the INS race and be there for 5 days and spend less money. So I just made a choice. I wish I could go. I have all these cool old cars, and a couple of them run, and I've worked on them and got them all cleaned up and everything, and I have yet to actually be able to really go out and enjoy them, you know? So I should go to one of these ones. I saw that the Adrenaline RC had a vintage race, and I knew nothing about it, and I feel like if I knew ahead of time of that one, I might have actually been able to go to that one. I've been to Adrenaline RC before, and I really enjoyed it, so I enjoyed the area. So I might look into that next year if they have it again. I'll scratch that up. RC10 Talk says, I don't pass up vintage stuff. I have the money, haha. Yeah, I hear ya. With a name like RC10 Talk, I would assume that you don't pass up much of the vintage stuff when it comes around. I try really, really hard to buy vintage stuff when it comes in, and when they don't, I at least get a picture of it. A couple years ago, there was a guy with a JRX 2, like mint condition JRX 2, with Novak stuff, a Trinity battery down the center. The tires were like mint condition. The 5-star wheels were mint. I mean, it was crazy how good it was. And I just laid it out for the guy. I'm like, listen, I am an old school Losi fanboy, and even though I already have a JRX 2, do not have a JRX 2 like this one. I'm like, what's it going to take for you to sell it to me? And he wouldn't even give me a price. And this guy had, like, if I remember right, it was like, he wasn't even an RC person. He was one of those guys that brought it in and goes, yeah, I need to get this thing running. What do I need to buy here? And I'm like, you're not going to buy anything for it. And I guess it was his dad's. So I could kind of understand that. There's also a sentimental aspect to a lot of this collector stuff. So to try to weasel it out of their hands sometimes is a little difficult. Yeah, I saw videos of the vintage race at Adrenaline, and I really enjoyed what I saw, and that track too. Like, that track is when we were there for the INS a couple years ago, we thought we were going to be on green double Ds like the whole time, and we ended up going to slicks, and that's because they started blowing the track off every time. So the track has a versatility to it where I could see the surface actually being more appropriate for a vintage race if they don't blow it off and you actually have to run like a pin tire. So Charles Cook's on here. I haven't seen him in a few weeks. Am I running the T7 at Hoosier? Emerson will be. I'm just going to run my truck and call it good for the year, and then decide when I'm going to race next year. So, but Emerson's ready to go. I brought it out earlier, but this is I've had to build 2 cars for him because obviously he was just in here. He's working on his real car stuff, but this one's all built and ready to go. Put electronics in it on Friday, I think. Friday morning? I think I got it done Friday night. Yes, I got it done Friday night. The only thing I got to do is put a fan on it still. I got the diff broken in for him, and got the servo centered, and got the throws right. But yeah, it's all done and ready to go. And all the camber and everything's correct, and toe's good, and yeah. So he's gonna have that. He's gonna have that right for INS. I'm just going to keep my stock, my T6.4 or whatever. And is that what they're on? T6.4? Yeah. My truck's really good though, so I don't want to change it. His truck, he didn't like his truck very much at INS at our place, so I'm actually kind of excited to see him on this new truck. I think he's going to do really good with it. Anthony Augusta, Alex, what diff fluids should I run for Mini Truggy? If you use the Alex setup, you're going to be running, I think I ran, this is off of memory, but I'm pretty sure I ran 30K in the center and 10,000 in the front and 10,000 in the back. I believe that's what I ran. You can play around. If you want more steering, you can drop the center a little bit more. But I like the acceleration on our clay with 30,000 in the center. RG10 Talk says that green ellipses were good and then slicks when it grooved up. I was there for the 23 INS race and was on silver smoothies the whole time. I think I was there for 22. So I think because they didn't have a very big turnout, which was a shame. The track was very technical. It's like they really didn't have any open space in the track. It's like they used every little bit of that track up. And that was so 22 is the year that I took the INS 40 plus class, and a lot of it was because Alan and those guys didn't go to the first one at Adrenaline, so I ended up getting a TQ and a win there. Almost didn't do that. My buddy Tommy actually TQ'd a round of qualifying, and then Jason almost had me in the first main. I don't know. But yeah, that was I think that was when Kaufman threw on some Proline slicks and blew everybody away, and we were all standing around like, oh, you can run slicks? So I think that even caught Jason off guard. So all right, we are on to bag 9 with the diffs, which means I get to pull this out. And then after this is just the shocks, and then we're good to go. What time is it? 9:13. We might stay on till like 10, maybe. It's almost 2 hours. Kill Tony's on, so that's my Monday night thing, and so I'll probably shut this off at some point and turn my TV back on and entertain myself the rest of the night. I need my scissors, my good scissors. I missed out going to the Hoosier vintage race because I was running a dirt oval race that weekend. I got hired to go do that in Kansas, and so I kind of had a choice to make there too. Like, do I spend a bunch of money or do I make money? And I was like, I better make money. So one of these times it's going to line up right where I get to go to one of these. Eventually. Just getting myself organized here. Make sure I lay it out in the clean part of my desk because you don't want to get a bunch of crap on your parts. Emerson's got a stock car, so it's all about getting the aluminum center driveline all good to go. There's that. So RC10 Talk says he raced his World's Car at INS, won the B in Indy and bumped up to the A. That doesn't surprise me. I tell these kids and stuff, I handed Rinderneck my graphite car when we were doing I did a YouTube video on my graphite car last year, maybe, and got some footage of it at the Plex. And, you know, I handed it to Tom and said, here, you got to drive this. It wasn't terrible. Like, you know, you kind of forget, like, how good those cars actually were. And, like, the world's car is, like, really good. And, like, a B3, right? So I got that B3 over there. When I was looking at doing the Vegas Vintage Race, like, that was one of the classes I was going to sign up for, was that year, because the B3, like, of that era, in my opinion, hands down, the better car than the Double X. And I was a Losi guy up until 2004, you know, privateer, hardcore, never bought anything else, never even looked at another car. Until about 2004. So my whole 90s, early 80s was just nothing but Losi. Anthony Santee with a good question. What are the best options for tire sauce in the winter if you don't want to use PB Blaster? Well, here's my opinion on PB Blaster, okay? So, don't use PB Blaster on silver compound. Like, I don't. I'm not going to. PB Blaster really is only for the gold compound or Proline MC, right? Or AKA, and if you guys are using the promotion, all that other stuff, more power to you. I just don't know. Don't have any experience with it. But PB Blaster really should only work on golds. So, when we get in the G3 Dirt Web 2s, right, you'd want to use PB Blaster on that in order to break them in. When we had the G3 compound slicks that we were trying, really we found everybody was like struggling with them, and then somebody had the brilliant idea of trying PB Blaster on it instead of TDK, and they magically worked better. So again, it's a gold compound, right? So that's why I think PB Blaster would work with that. Because they've discontinued like gold ellipses, you're going to run silver ellipses. Then in the wintertime, you probably will want to run TDK. The problem is like you'll want the tires to be dry when you go out there when it's cold, because you don't want to go out there with wet tires when it's cold, because they'll gel up and do that thing that they do. So if you don't want to use that, then you're on to liquid wrench, which is better on silver but still not as good as TDK or Grip Doctor. So probably for wintertime use, I would say Grip Doctor is probably going to be the go-to. Unless it's 65 degrees out, then keep running TDK. Or like Friday nights where the doors are all shut and the heater's on, TDK is still going to be the way to go. You can probably still use TDK anyways. You just got to make sure that your tires are dry. Otherwise, they might gel up and be slick, right? So, I'm sure SXT probably works okay, the Baja. It does work good on silver, actually. So that'd be an option. I mean, PB Blaster, you could keep working it, but if, like you said, if you don't want to use it, that's my guess. So. Macho Man says he remembers the Losi down Moss Road track. That sign's still up too. That's what's really cool about RC Motorsport, is the sign, I think the building's still there and the sign's still there. I drove by there the other day. There's homes around that entire area now. It's crazy. I used to rally car my little S10 pickup truck on that gravel road that went to Moss Road. That was the back way to do it. So you could take the interstate and then get off on, what is that, 30th Street, and go over here and then get on the road and slide around that corner and then come in hot to the parking lot. And that's all homes now. It's kind of a bummer, honestly. When will the Hobbyplex Raceway website calendar be coming back soon? So the calendar is still available on Facebook. So it's a featured post on the Hobbytown Omaha Facebook page. So the calendar is still around. The website sucks. So basically, the how do I understand this? So the hosting site, I guess, expired, and since the new ownership's come around, the email address is now the wrong email address. But I guess we never even thought about changing it because it was never a problem, and we haven't been able to log in. And so we haven't been able to change or fix anything. We are working on that. I actually saw an email today that made me a little happy, because it looked like an actual like real person was emailing us back instead of either a bot or somebody that can't speak English. So we're working on that. If necessary, we've even talked about just starting over completely with a new domain name and going that route. So there's nothing wrong with the website itself. We have a guy for that. Nick Pavel, who's done really good for us since taking that over. But yeah, the hosting thing is all screwed up. That's what's happened, and it's really bumming me out. So, but if you get onto Facebook, I know some of you aren't on Facebook, totally understand it, get it, but it is a featured post on the Hobbyplex Facebook down Omaha. Good. Lost connection there for a bit. I bet you Emerson's on something in there. That's my guess. Sorry. Okay, now we got this. I'll put a little bit right here. Yeah, that kind of, the whole internet thing, the website thing kind of caught us by surprise, and we're working on it. We're going to get, hopefully, it will get resolved here in just a little short period of time. So, hopefully. Where there's supposed to be, where did that shim go? There it is right there. Perfect. Anthony says he pressed on it and refreshed it about 20 times and it worked. Great. That's weird, but yeah. Come on, finger. There we go. Yeah, my internet looks like it's got the bars, but it's looking a little shaky every once in a while. I apologize for that. Like I said, first time we've done one of these in a while, so it wouldn't surprise me if something goes wrong or something happens. I got the wife on the TV upstairs. I got the kid over here. He might be on Xbox or he might be on just watching TV. I don't know. The door's shut, so one of the two. Building a diff here. Almost done with the car. Make sure I get the right area. There it is. Come on. Rockin' Coop says take a double X Racing. I agree. I have two, and I have one that I've been intending on putting electronics in it and taking it out. So I actually have a Mint Sport, and I got a CR, and the CR has been driven before, so I thought that would be the one that I would put electronics in and get it going. One of these days, I'll have time to get all that done. Days like today, we haven't had a day like today in a long time where it's just crappy out and got the day off. There's really no reason to be outside, so yeah. If I get this car done today, that'll be a pretty big accomplishment. for me. Because that doesn't always happen. And yeah, this is a B84. We got majority of the car done. Just center diff and shocks and electronics coming up. So getting it ready for its inaugural run. I told Emerson when I get done with this, he's gonna have to drive it a little bit at the Plex to break it in, because it comes with those plastic ring and pinion gears that they require a little bit of break in. Like, you can't just build this car and set it down and go race right away without it being super tight and hard to drive probably at first. That's what my B74 Championship Edition was like when I put the plastic gears into it. It was that way. It took about, I don't know, I think 4 or 5 packs before it finally freed up. You could just kind of feel it out on the track, how it suddenly like would coast instead of just come to a complete stop. So he's definitely going to have to actually drive before we go to this race. He hasn't been doing that. He's been being an 18-year-old young man, going out and on the weekends and hopefully driving the girls crazy and all that good stuff. So yeah, I remember my double X always pushing. Like, you could compensate for it, right? But I remember always using the brakes a lot to get that thing to turn. That's what I remember most about all my double X cars. And I got to drive a B3 once when I was younger. Like I said, I was hardcore Losi guy, so I rarely ever even looked at another car. But I did get to drive one. I remember it at the old Hobby Haven in Des Moines on the actual Hickman Road. Why is this not on? And just going, why does this thing turn so much better? How do I get my double X to turn like this car? Not wearing my glasses. That's what's going on. I can't see anything. My eyes hurt. Oh, see what I'm doing? Look at that. Terrible. That's terrible. So I actually forgot to put these little washers in, little spacers in on one of the diffs, and then on the front diff, and then I sealed it all up. So I've actually had to go back and open it back up and do that. I think I forgot to do that too on my previous car. Get distracted by stuff and then make a mistake, and then I got extra parts. I'm like, why is this extra part here? And then I go, oh crap, I did it again. Tiny Tuesday starts tomorrow at the Plex. That's our 1/18 scale, and I'm sorry, 1/16 scale, 1/18 scale mini racing, and I'm back to running the show. So last year we had one of our kids running the race program, and unfortunately he's gonna probably be leaving us pretty soon, and so didn't make any sense to have him be the showrunner when he wasn't going to be there. So, oh, you know what? This is a perfect time to use is this. Mitchell Pavel made these for me. I always forget about them. But you can just put your diff in them like that, and it's supposed to hang on to them. I'm gonna let that oil sit there a minute, but got my Mini up here, and haven't even really looked at it since March. So I don't know. Hopefully everything works tomorrow. I guess I'll find out. But yeah, I'll have the track set up by 4, and then I get to throw down. I actually am changing these shocks out. So I went with these old RC18 shocks because they were cool, because they were blue. and I, for the life of me, cannot keep oil in them. I've replaced the seals over and over again, and they're just not doing it. So I bought the TLR tuned shocks for them because they were in stock finally. So Horizon last spring, they had the front shocks in, but then they didn't have the rear shocks in. They were out of stock, and so we actually had a whole bunch of them. And when I went to go buy them, somebody had bought the rears, and I was like, damn it. So this like June, the rears came back in stock, but then they were out of the fronts. So we just happened to have one more pair of fronts at the time, so I ended up getting both front and rear. And I just haven't put them on yet. So this looks like crap. There's no oil in these shocks at all. It's been sitting up there since March, just leaking oil. So that's okay. I was going to replace them anyways. It does bum me out, though, that I'm not going to have the blue RC18 shocks on this thing anymore, because it just makes it unique, you know? And plus, they were still associated shocks. They weren't those, they weren't any, like, China shock or anything like that. Oh, well. Got to remember to actually bring this to work tomorrow, otherwise I'm going to be making a trip back home. I do that sometimes. Like on Tuesday nights with crawling, I'll forget my crawler, and I'll be like, why did I forget my crawler? But I'll set the track up tomorrow, and then I'll put those shocks on. That is a Mini Z. That is a Mini B. So Mini T's, Mini B's, and then four-wheel drive. So like the like a Grom or a Latrax, we'll be running those, and hopefully people remember that tomorrow's the first day and we get a good turnout. I remember last year it took a couple of weeks before we started getting like multiple heats of everything. I grumbled at my Horizon rep because Horizon discontinued the brushed versions of the Mini B, and I'm like, why in the world would you guys do that when we can't keep them in stock? Like, I don't get it. Like, are other tracks not doing as well with those as we are? I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you discontinue something that we see sells all the time? And you're like, well, we still have the brushless one. I'm like, yeah, but that seems pretty suspect. I hope you guys don't plan on discontinuing the brushless one anytime soon, or at least come out with a new version of it or something like that. So I'm hoping to prove us right that they better not discontinue that car or the Mini T 2.0, because that thing's rock solid too, when places like us sell a bunch of them when our race season is around, and they do really good. Hopefully I get to prove us right. It's when I'm unable to do that I get a little butthurt, because, you know, I like being right. That would suck, wouldn't it, if they discontinued the Mini B altogether? Like, such a cool little car. Or at least come out with a new version of it. Like the Pro Roller. Like, you guys got the TLR tuned stuff out now, so make a TLR tuned Pro Roller. Right? You know, they'll probably increase the price a little bit. Maybe the tariff thing has something to do with it. I don't know. I hope not. I hope that's not an excuse for a bunch of dumb stuff happening. Although it feels like it has been lately. Okay. We got that in. Did I remember to put the... Yes, I did. Okay, very good. So now we should be able to put the gasket on. And put this on without too much spillage. There we go. And I'll grab this just to poke that a little bit. Make sure I got the holes lined up so I don't screw anything up. There we go. much oil there, so that's good. And then it should be 2 point whatever. Where are those at? Where are those screws at? There they are. Oh, man. Hands hurt. Getting old. Speaking of that, I gotta remember to do this, otherwise I'm gonna have a headache. I gotta be able to see what I'm doing. A couple days worth of this without using the glasses would probably be bad. The funny thing is, like, if I look up, I can't see anything. So it's pretty much only this. Gosh darn it! Did you guys? There's a 17 back on here. Looks like my connection's pretty good. There's a product out there. I'll have to look it up, but it's like some sort of wonder drug that if you take it, it like causes your eyes to, your eye muscles to do a certain thing that makes your corneas like do a certain thing that gets rid of nearsightedness or whatever. And as somebody who's had really, really, really good eyesight up until about a year ago, not even that. What are we in? Month 10? Yeah, less than a year ago. Like, brought that up to my wife, and she's like, what if it turns you into a zombie? Or like, what if it ruins your eyes, you know? I'm like, well, I'm sure it wouldn't have gotten approved if that happened. And then I'm like thinking about, you know, the COVID vaccine. I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. So. I'm going to hand tighten this so I don't screw it up. You don't want to over tighten it and strip it, or not make it seal good. Okay, so there's that, and there's that. And now we need to put on the small spur gear, which is hopefully still a 72. Yes, it is. Oh, it goes on this side, doesn't it? God, I'm dumb. We have one more weekend of 10 scale racing at the Plex. I had flirted with the idea of holding an impromptu dirt oval race if we did not get a turnout this Saturday for off-road, and even though the turnout wasn't spectacular or anything like that, we still got a chance to race. We did AAA mains instead of qualifying, which I thought was really fun. Which actually brings me to something I'd like to talk about. How many locals are on here? Get in the chat and tell me how many there are. I have an idea, and I wanna throw it out there. Who's here that's a Hobbyplex local that races like at the ProTech race, or who's not local that's raced at the ProTech race, or would race at the ProTech race? I have an idea, and I want to see. I should do like a. I wonder if I can do a. I've never done it before, but I wonder if I can do a poll of some sort. Nate's here. Macho Man's an oval guy. Wonder if Anthony's still on here. All right. Well, anyways, we can always go back and look at this. So here's my idea. So this year I noticed that, and I've noticed this actually, the biggest spring race we ever had was a Novak race. That would have been probably 2014. I think we had 300 something entries. I think the year I won mod 2-wheel, we had a pretty good entry count. It's 280 something like that. We have not gotten really close to that in a while. We haven't been over 200 in a couple of years. And I put a lot of work in to the track in the spring, because that's the only time we ever do like a full-on everything changes track rebuild. Like coming up, we're going to do track build, yes, but it won't be everything, right? Like I'm not going to mess with the oval. I've sort of like built the track to be a certain way for longer periods of time. So I do all this work, and then like this year, I think we only had like 130 entries for the Pro Tech race, which I'm complaining about because there are tracks out there that would kill for that, right? I say that every time that we have a Summer Series race. Like this year's Summer Series was kind of low. We still had over 100 entries almost every round. Like there are places that would die for that turnout. So I'm not dissing on the fact that that's happened. In fact, Summer Series I don't think should be 200 entries. It just makes for such a long day. Anyways, so I've been thinking about ways to like freshen up or even think, should we even have the Pro Tech race when we have it, which is basically the start of our 10 scale season, right? The end of April, every single year. My wife would love it because our anniversary is April 26th, right? So that race has been there ever since 2014 when we moved it. It used to be a winter race. Winter, you got to think about, you know, weather and blizzards, and the track isn't very good anyways for 10 scale in the wintertime because of the condensation that we get and all that stuff. So here's what I was thinking. And respond in the chat, any locals that are here, what they think about it. Respond in the chat, even if you're not a local. Tell me what you think about it. I don't really care. The point I'm trying to make is, what if we do what the oval crowd kind of does, and you basically eliminate all IFMAR style qualifying. And I'm not talking about like the Summer Series. We're not going to touch that. The Summer Series is great. We do 2 rounds of qualifying. We do mains. We get it all done in a day. It's a very bang race. There's still something to be said. There's always going to be something to be said for qualifying. For me, I love qualifying because I get to run on my own clock. I get to see how fast I can go. But maybe we do it different. We call it like the Pro Tech RC Heads Up Championship or something along those lines, right? And you do a seeding round or maybe even 2 seeding rounds on Friday. They take your best seeding time, right? I think Yoel does either single lap or maybe they do top 2. I can't remember. It's basically what the Chili Bowl does. What if we do that and then we seed the heats, but you don't put all the better guys together in one heat. You split it up. That's what the oval crowd does. So if you're top seed, you're in race 1. If you're second seed, you're in race 2. If you're in third, if you got enough, like if you're third seed, you're the top of the third heat. And then it goes 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, like that. So basically the idea is for your first set of heads up racing and probably your second, you're always going to have slower cars in with faster cars, right? So you run 3 qualifiers, and they're all heads up racing, and you run it based seated on your seed times with drivers dispersed. Then maybe the second round we do, I know at Chili Bowl I think they do it inverted, but I'm thinking maybe for the second round we do it based on laps and time. And so you would resort and do the same thing. You wouldn't put all the good guys in together, you would spread them out. And then maybe for the final round of qualifying, you put the good guys in together and the B guys in together and C guys in together, because then that gives you a chance to break up the points, because it'd be race points. Then you run your mains on Sunday like normal with bump ups, so 2 bump ups per class. We do AAA mains for mod and expert. Everybody else gets a single main that's longer. So you're racing pretty much the entire weekend except for seeding. And seeding would be short. It'd be like, 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe we do it once or twice. It kind of depends on how much time we have or how much time we want to spend doing seeding before we just jump into racing. So that's my thought. And I'm sure if we did change to that, we'd hear, oh man, no qualifying, blah, 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 blah. But that's the point. Like, it's called the Heads Up Championships because it's heads up racing the entire weekend. that's what I'm thinking of. And just the idea came to me when I'm like, man, maybe we need to change something. Maybe something's not right. Maybe it was just an anomaly that this year was the worst turnout for that race period, just because of how much there was for the travel racers to travel to around the Midwest. You know, this last year they had the Clash, they had the Vintage Race, they had the Indoor National Series, then they had another International Series, and then they had Nats, and then right after that they had another Indoor National Series, and then they had our Indoor National Series. So there was a lot of race, and then we had the Carpet Nats again in the Midwest. So there was all this racing taking place. So maybe I'm just overthinking it, and it was just a bad year in general for us because of all these other events that were taking place. But maybe we could change it anyways, just to have something different, you know. And I don't know. That's my thought. My day off in Florida. First time I've seen this channel. What's this RC all about? What's this RC all about? Well, I'm manager and race director at the Hobbytown Hobbyplex in Omaha, Nebraska. And we have a pretty awesome off-road track. We have a dirt oval track. We have a carpet on-road track. We do crawling. We do indoor flying if they'd ever come and do it again. We have a lot of stuff that we do at the Plex. This channel's mostly RC car stuff. I live stream some of our races, are like our bigger events, just with a static camera, so it's not like a moving camera or anything like that. But of course, I also make lots of cool videos every once in a while, especially from about fall through spring, when basically in Omaha, Nebraska, we live in a freezer for like 4 months. So there's nothing else better to do. And then we do these. And I get to say that I use my studio here, or my man cave, as a studio for YouTube, which is always nice come tax season. So yeah. And today I'm building my son's team associated B84D. And I'm almost done. I just did the diff, the center diff. So I usually we do our podcast lately once a month, but both my partner in crime and I kind of we take the summer off for the podcast just because it's so nice out and there's more stuff to do on our days off. So our podcast is on here usually Mondays at 7, and we run that live here on YouTube, which is a lot of fun actually, to interact with the chat and everything. And then I like to do these every once in a while where I got a project I'm working on, and instead of sitting here on my butt watching TV and eating potato chips and stuff while I'm working on it, I get to come on YouTube and interact with everybody. I also feel like this channel, I started in 2018, and I had hoped that it sort of, how do I put this? Maybe helped people who have seen me at the store. I have a resting douche face, and I know this. So a lot of times I feel like people think I'm unapproachable, which sometimes I am, to be honest with you. But I feel like the YouTube channel, in a way, sort of rehabbed my image a little bit, right? At least that's what I hope. Because like, I'm pretty approachable. I'm very introverted, so I try to not be, and it's difficult for me sometimes. And sometimes, like, I just have, like, if somebody cuts me off in traffic or something like that, like, I stew about it, and I bring that to work sometimes, and then people think I'm being a jerk to them and stuff. But that hasn't happened in a really long time. But anyways, you see what I'm saying? Like, I like this after hour stuff. We haven't done one of these in a while, but I do like doing this because it lets people access me a little bit more. So yeah, so there you go. That's a synopsis of what we do here at the Hobbyplex show. Anthony Santi says he feels it was just a down year, lots of races, maybe people just getting a little burnt out. I 100% agree. I feel this season, this overall RC season, since like April, since March even, maybe even May, like I felt it in the middle of the summer series. I felt like people were getting a little burned out. Not everybody. Like our independent class at the Plex has been strong, and I feel like those guys haven't let themselves get burnt out because a lot of them don't travel. But a lot of the guys that do travel, I 100% think that a lot of that was burnout. I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I get burnt out, and I pretty much live this stuff. So hell, I've probably been burnt out for a couple years. Everyone, off and on, to be honest with you guys. So 10 by 15, 10 by 15. I have a giant bearing and I don't know where it goes. That's left over. It's kind of bugging me. Maybe I haven't gotten to that part of the thing yet, but I can't think of anything else that would go on. That's not good. Santi says that big growth of people starting to race around COVID also is weaning down. I like the word weaning. That's a good verb. Yeah, for sure. So COVID really brought a lot of people um, out of the woodwork. It exposed a lot of new people to what we do. I agree with that as well. I feel like maybe we're finally out of that as well. So I felt when COVID happened, I kind of felt like when we started racing again, but we had to limit it, so we had to use RC sign up and everything, and it sold out every single time. Like I thought for sure, I'm like, why that is because people, our racers, like went, oh man, this is what we had, and maybe they might have felt like how do I put that? I think it was one of those things where like, man, look at what we got, we better use it type thing. And now that we're kind of past that, we're also into some really weird, I don't know, like I think also I don't know, I don't want to say the economy's bad, but I feel like there's some unknowns out there still with the economy as always. And so when you're in a retail space like ours, like we're always thinking ahead, like, okay, what's going to happen in 3 months? Um, are people sort of clinging on to what they have until like it gets sorted out, you know? Like when inflation was going on and all these car kits started going up in price, is it one of those deals where you're so worried about it that you don't want to spend any money yet? I mean, we're still having good days, so it's not like, I don't know, it's not like we're seeing it slow down too much from that end. But the race thing, though, it's just the travel involved and all that stuff, it just sort of started to make me wonder. Nathan says when he built his B74.2, there was a spare bearing that went for the other diff. Maybe geared versus decoupled slipper? Maybe. We had one of those B74 decoupled slippers on the on the 50% off sale that we had going on, and man, I kind of forgot about it the other day. I could have got it for 75% off, which is cheaper than what I would pay for it as a employee or a manager or whatever. Like when we were having the 50% off sale, like most of that stuff I'd be like, that was pretty much what I'd pay for it anyways. But then when they're like, hey, we're going to do 75, I'm like, oh, really? Okay. I wonder if there's anything I could score. Which, is that wrong? Like I went through and grabbed the parts and put them in the bin to mark them down based on the criteria that we used. And then I see something that I'm like, oh, wonder if I should buy that. I mean, I could see if I didn't put it out in the bin the first day or whatever to hide it or whatever, but after that, like, who cares? All right, so we're putting on the lightweight center drives. It's the same lightweight center drives that the B74. So the same part number, right? So we got to take this front CVD off, and actually that's where those came from. I was like, why do I have an extra pair of four-wheel drive center drives? And I'm like, oh, that's right. The championship edition had the lightweight centers in mine. So derp-a-der. There it is. My day off in Florida says, do any of you guys do airplanes or just ground vehicles? It's getting harder to find good tracks around Central Florida. Yeah, we do airplanes too. In fact, I do airplanes. I haven't. There's a field about 10 minutes away that is really good here in Omaha. We have an actual paved landing strip and everything. And they've had a really good situation. That club's like 50-something years old. It's called Omahawks. And a couple years ago, I was flying out there on my days off. And I was trying to fly like on Thursday nights. They have a trainer night that they do and stuff. So I've got an E-Flight. I've got an E-Flight extra. Extra. Anyways, it's yellow and white. It's really fast, and it can run on 3-cell and 4-cell, and when I run it on 3-cell, I'm pretty chill. And when I run it on 4-cell, it's really fast. And I like to say that I like to do 3D and all that, and on a simulator, I can do a lot of it. But when I get in real life, a lot of times I crash. And I also have a E-Flight Ultimate biplane that I like to practice on more because I feel like it's more precise than my extra. And I actually sold that plane this summer because I hadn't been using it in a while. But I definitely kept my extra because I love that plane. It's nice, big, yellow. I treat it almost more like a sport plane rather than a 3D plane. So, but I do like to fly. It is fun. Nathan says, regarding the heads-up racing, is there a way to test that on a Friday without committing to running it that way for ProTech anyways? Yeah, I mean, we used to do race points on Tuesday nights. So we had Tuesdays a long time ago used to be a short course night. So it was short course, I can't remember what I called it, but it was a short course night, and we did heads-up racing all the time because it's short course, right? It's more fun that way. And we used race points. So instead of qual points, like the first qualifier gets a 0 and the second qualifier gets a second. Basically, you're awarded points based on your position. And then you would have to figure out a tiebreaker because, like on any given night, you'd have a tie, maybe sometimes like a 3-way tie or whatever. At the Tone Tuesdays. Thank you, Anthony Santee. That's what it was. At the Tone Tuesdays. Man, I'm glad people remembered that. So that's really good. Thank you. Yes, At the Tone Tuesdays. That was a lot of fun. Anyways, so we've kind of done it before, but we haven't done it the way. So the oval crowd uses their seating times as a tie break. So you got to be fast on your very first run in order to have a better tiebreaker. So like at Chili Bowl, you know, if you have 10 guys and they've all won a heat, right? Then the tiebreak goes to the seating time, which can sometimes come down to 1/10 of a second. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Thousandths of a second even. So, I don't know. What about Reedy style? So the problem with Reedy style is there's no qualifying with Reedy style. So a Reedy race style of event, this is why they do the invite, like at Fastlane. So um, um, you can't really qualify into a Reedy race style. I mean, plus you'd be limited. I think Reedy race, to do it right, you can't have more than a certain number of heats anyways, right? So that's why the heads up racing race points thing would work better than trying to somehow manage a Reedy race style where you'd have to figure out, okay, well, who makes the races for the Reedy race? Because what if you have, let's just throw this number out there, what if you have 50 independent two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive buggies? You can't run a Reedy race style event with 50. I mean, you could, I think, but it would take forever, and I don't know if that would be the way to do it. So not to like diss on the Reedy race idea, but that's why they do the invite races using the Reedy race, because there is no qualifying. You're just randomly put into a round every round. Mighty Alf in Florida says the extra was a banger. I had one many years ago. Probably actually know me if you're into planes. I'm Wes. Most people know me from the other channel. Steve RC says the economy, everything's tight for the Pro Tech race and everything. Anthony was around for the short course race because we used to do for the short course Tuesdays, because it used to be the trucks and short course buggies. So really wish short course buggies would have taken off. That'd been awesome. Murillo says that speaking as an older fast guy, I like it. There's always value to innovation. I'm certain you add that to your mic skills and everyone will have a blast. I mean, yeah, I don't think it would be not fun. I'm just, there'd be the haters that'd be like, no qualifying, bleh. And then that's their reason for not coming. But then I actually talked to Will, my podcast partner, and about this idea, and he liked it. He's like, I might even come back and race if you do that, because he likes racing. He likes the racing part of racing, right? In qualifying, we're only racing ourselves, or we're racing the track. So I don't know. It's been something that I've been going over and over and over again in my head, and trying to figure out, maybe we can just do something different, because otherwise we're just like any other race. I thought having the Dash for Caches that we do and having the hooligan race helped differentiate us from the other events that people get to choose from. So like Trackside usually has one of their, is it the stock buggy, the buggy nationals? Not stock buggy, but the buggy nats in April. So you got to choose, do I go to that? There's the judge race at GS Hobbies. That's within driving distance for us. It's on a small little like turf track. That's always, I think, the same weekend. This last year, I think Silver State was the same weekend. So any of the guys that raced 8 scale that even thought about racing 10 scale, they weren't going to come to our race, right? So I'm just thinking of something that could separate us from the rest of the races. And if it doesn't work, then we just go back to what we were doing, I guess. All right, let's make sure that I'm getting this correct. So yeah, that's my idea. JR says it's your track, run the races however you want to run them. Believe me, I do. Like it's not that I'm not open to other people's ideas. It's just that like I've been doing it for so long that I have gotten very accustomed to just doing what I think is best for the Plex. And you know, and I've been around long enough to know like if something doesn't work, then it's not going to work. So, you know, I can always change it too. So, but yeah, no, I agree. It's, you know, I try not to make decisions on a whim either. Like I think about stuff for a while before I really commit to any sort of big change on anything. Like when we went from Flame Out Fridays to Family Friday off road, like that was a big change, right? Because we had this like 8 scale nitro crowd when we were an outdoor track, and then as the early years went on, when we went indoor, when we put the roof on it, right in 2011, that crowd just got smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where Friday nights were tough, you know, like you'd get like 6 or 7 nitro cars, and then you'd have 30 Plex spec people hoping to race, and then getting snuffed out by the fumes. So I started to like figure out, okay, well, we're gonna run Plex spec first, and then we'll make sure that our nitro mains are always last. You know, I always adjusted to that. But then at some point, you just had to think, man, something's got to change here, because I got people that are leaving or that are telling me they won't come back because of the fumes. So I made the decision to just nix nitro club racing altogether, and that was rough, you know. Got lots of messages in my inbox just like telling me what a piece of crap I was and all that, and it's like, where were you? It was time to race. Where have you been? Why aren't you here? You had your shot. So I don't know. Maybe it's time to swing for the fences again and try something new. I got a couple months to think about it and talk about it, and you know, the other thing is, and the reason why we brought this up is because I've been thinking about maybe hiring Mod to come in and do some live coverage for that race, and we looked at the income from entries and the sponsorship that we get, and it didn't pay for it. So that was a no-go, because we're not going to go in the hole. But the idea is, but then it's tough because maybe having live coverage is a deal breaker for some people now. Like we're so used to going to these races now that have live coverage, whether it be Elite RC, whether it be Matt Olson and Mod, or whether it be, you know, Live RC or whatever, or any of the other guys that are out there, like in the Pacific Northwest and over here in the East Coast. There's other companies that do some live coverage and stuff. Maybe that's a deal breaker for some people. Maybe they won't come to the race because they don't have that action cam, and they don't have the possibility of getting an interview, you know, after they TQ or win a heat or whatever. Like you know, I mean, I think about that. Like, it's fun to go to a race that has that sort of thing and be able to get on and get seen, you know, when it's when you do well. So I don't know. That's part of my thought process as well. So make sure that that's nice and tight. Oh man, dude, my eyes are like crossed. This is crazy. There we go. I really feel like sometimes I'm like cross-eyed looking at this stuff. Time is it? 10. Holy crap. All right. Well, I think I still got the shocks to do, but time flies when you're talking and interacting and showing off stuff and all that. So we made pretty good progress here on this car. Hopefully I have it done by Wednesday night so Emerson can come out and kind of break this drivetrain in and all that good stuff. So yeah, still got to put that on too, so let's do that. That's that side like this. I'm gonna flip that over. Murillo says that that would be super fun. He loves mod media. They're super fun. I agree, and I'm lobbying for us to still try to get him on. I probably will run out of time because I'm sure he's looking at dates and stuff. I actually thought the Silver State race would interfere, but Silver State got moved to like January, so I was like, oh man, I wonder if I can get Matt out this year to do this race. It's just that it's a business and we got to pay him. And I've asked in the pits, like on Fridays and Saturdays, this last part of the summer series, I'm like, hey, if would you guys be willing to not get shirts but get Mod Live Media to come in? And it was a resounding yes. Like everybody's like, hell yeah, we want Mod to come in and do it. So yeah, still on the plate. I just have to show that we're not going to lose money on the deal. That's all. So if we get the turnout, if we had 200 entries, it would pay for it. But 130 entries would not pay for it. So that's where we're at with that, and that's what the deal is. Okay, almost done. We got my day out of Florida says, dig your studio setup. Cars look sick. Trophies being look sick. Your camera quality's good. I can tell you put in a lot of work. Thanks. The camera was my first purchase with YouTube money a couple years ago. Before that, we were actually using my laptop camera, which wasn't as nice. So then I got to learn how to do OBS and all that other fun stuff. And the car thing is my little museum, and it ebbs and flows as the years go on. So a lot of cool stuff back there. One day, it'll all be his, my son's. I don't know where he's going to put it, but yeah.
We should hold worlds.
Huh?
We should hold worlds.
No.
You know how sick that'd be?
It would be sick, but I explained why we're not going to.
Oh,
Like
did you?
the first 10 minutes of this video. So you'll have to go back and watch. Because, yeah, it would be cool, but man, it'd be buttloads of work. We don't have the amount of people it takes to really do it good. We're not a club. We don't have, like a bona fide group of volunteers. So there's two reasons right there, but there's a vast number of reasons why 10 scale worlds would not be in the cards for us. So what'd you say? Is that a picture of you on the shelf behind you? What can you guys see back there? Because yeah, it is. There is a picture of me. It's right there. That's my Team Associated.
He's got baby face.
Yeah, it's my baby face. See that? So I took this picture. Funny story behind this picture. Okay, I had just gotten second at the Stock Nats in 2004 in Chillicothe, Missouri, which was essentially my home track, so a little bit of advantage there. I was trying to get sponsored by Brandon Rohde's Paradigm Motors, I think, or something like that. Like at the time, I was actually sponsored by Putnam, and but I was trying to get sponsored by him for something. I can't remember exactly what. I don't think it was Motors. I don't know. It was something. But I sent a resume in like a package, like a manila folder, right? Those old things. And I had an actual because it never occurred to me to email. So, or maybe they called for it. I don't even remember how it was. Anyways, I sent the stuff. So I sent in a picture of myself holding my car because I thought that right there, along with my resume, would get me sponsored. And it did not. No sponsorship came from this at all. I still have that car, though. It's right back there. And that was my old stadium truck with my concourse winning body at the Roar Nationals. That truck right there. Matt Leibman painted that. And he made me a special paint scheme for that race. So, but yeah, so I made another picture of this and I kept it. And yeah. So that's part of the memorabilia that I have. Pick should have sealed the deal. I know. I agree. I 100% agree. But it did not. So, was that before the Stock Nats? Oh, it was before the Stock Nats, because then he was at that race, and I was sponsored by Putnam instead. So Putnam was this Todd Putnam, rest in peace. He passed away not that long ago. He I think Phil Beardsher helped me get hooked up with him, and he sent me like 100 pairs of F brushes, which were that was like the shit of brushes back in the day. If you know what a brush is, if you don't know what a brush is, I'm sorry, but because we're all brushless now. But back then, you had to like cut your comm and do all this stuff. And that summer before the Stock Nats, I got Jim's Black Book, and studied that and really worked on motors and making them fast. And then Todd Putnam sent me a whole bunch of F brushes to sponsor me for the race. And instead of Brandon's company. And then Brandon was there, and I think I bumped him in Stadium Truck B main, and I like chuckled about it or whatever. I was like, ha ha ha. So he's not. He wouldn't even remember that, I don't think. But I made it a point to like mention myself that hey, I sent you a resume and never got anything back and all that stuff, and then I finished second behind Matt Chambers, who also rest in peace, dude. I cannot believe you're gone. So, anyways, there you go. I gotta go. So I bet you Kill Tony's either on or it's over. I'm gonna watch it from the beginning. I'm gonna finish this car. I'll be at work tomorrow. I don't want to stay up too late like I did last week. Last week I worked on that truck. I was up Monday morning until, or I was Monday night, Tuesday morning till like 3 a.m. And Tuesday was one of the worst days ever to work because I was so tired. I think I fell asleep in my chair in my pit at like 3 o'clock and took like an hour nap, and I still didn't feel very good afterwards. So, anyways, I'm gonna try to get done with what I can now. But anyways, B84, we're almost done. Just gonna do shocks and do the electronics now, and he'll be on the road. That's enough of that. I will catch you guys on the next one. We might do one of these more often, so keep your ears open. Subscribe and like to the channel if you haven't done that already. You can get on Facebook and follow the Hobbyplex Show YouTube channel page. That's where I posted that I was going to be on today. And otherwise, I might just surprise you with another one of these at some point. This fall, there'll be more of them because obviously we live in a freezer for 3 or 4 months and there's nothing else better to do. So you might as well be on live. We'll see you later. And those who've been on the whole time, I appreciate it a lot. Thanks. Bye.